The Fat Boys are an American hip-hop trio from Brooklyn, New York City, that emerged in the early 1980s. Briefly, the group was known originally as the Disco Three. Members: Mark Morales aka Prince Marky D, Damon Wimbley aka Cool Rock Ski, Darren Robinson aka Buff Love aka The Human Beatbox. History: Big Buff Love, the Human Beatbox, was a pioneer in beatboxing. He and another contemporary, Doug E. Fresh, popularized beatboxing, inspiring other artists to innovate, including Biz Markie and, later, others such as Ratzel. Attempting to capitalize on the appearance-oriented name of the Fat Boys, another hip-hop group dubbed itself the Skinny Boys, and yet another the Fat Girls. The popularity of those groups was mild in comparison, however. The group's 1984 self-titled debut, The Fat Boys, is considered by many to be an early hip-hop classic, with artists like Boogie Down Productions and Redman, among others, making references to the album. For its 1987 album, Crashin', the Fat Boys made a cover version of the Safaris hit Wipeout with the Beach Boys singing backup vocals. The single made it to number 12 on the Billboard chart, and number 10 on the corresponding R&B listing. The Fat Boys also recorded a version of The Twist with Chubby Checker, who performed it originally in 1960. Manager Charlie Stettler was a Swiss national who had embraced hip-hop culture. In 1983, putting the two together, he contacted the Nations Watch Company and offered the talents of his group. The American Office Marketing Group, headed by Stephen Retzschaffner and Nancy Kadner, was starting to do some offbeat, interesting campaigns, and agreed to star the Fat Boys in one of MTV's earliest commercials. Stettler, knowing the video channel was playing no hip-hop, readily agreed. Even with no fee, he sensed the exposure would catapult his trio into youth's mainstream. The company returned to the Fat Boys for a 1985 Christmas commercial, created by former MTV creative heads Alan Goodman and Fred Sabert. Capitalizing on their good-humored personalities, the trio starred in the 1985 Run DMC feature film Crush Groove and in the feature film Disorderlies, which featured Ralph Bellamy as a millionaire invalid who receives bumbling care by his good-natured orderlies, with a cameo by manager Stettler. The group was later approached to record the theme song for A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, called Are You Ready for Freddy, which featured Robert Englund performing as Freddy Krueger. The group's popularity ballooned by the 1990s. For example, in the 1992 film Boomerang, Chris Rock delivers a line lamenting the breakup of the Fat Boys, which was later quoted by Jay-Z in his 2001 song The Heart of the City. Prince Marky D left the group to pursue solo interests, which included producing many early tracks for Mariah Carey and Mary J. Blige, which included her debut single, Real Love. In 1991, the remaining two members, Cool Rock Ski and Buff Love, carried on as a duo and released Mac Daddy, but shortly thereafter, the group disbanded. On December 10, 1995, Buff Love died of a heart attack in Rosedale, Queens, New York. He was 28 years old and reportedly weighed 450 pounds. Prince Marky D is a current radio host for WEDA 99 Jamts in Miami, Florida working weekends. Cool Rock Ski resides in New York. The surviving members of the Fat Boys launched OriginalFatBoys.com, its first official homepage, on November 5, 2008. According to its official website, the Fat Boys have recently recorded its first track Fat Boys Unite in nearly 2 decades and have plans of doing a reality TV show in search of a new member. In March 2009, Cool Rock Ski announced the launch of his official website, the official Cool Rock website. His first solo project, Party Time, was released on April 14, 2009. On October 18, 2010, the cable network TV1's aired Unsung, the story of the Fat Boys, and mentioned that the two surviving members have reunited, and are currently touring with Doug E. Fresh, temporarily filling in for the Human Beatbox. There has been no confirmation if he is the new third permanent member. This was produced by the group's manager, Louis Gregory, publicly known as Uncle Louie. In August 2012, the Fat Boys were scheduled to perform at the 13th annual gathering of the Judd Gallows in Cave in Rock, Illinois. In spring 2015, the Fat Boys relaunched their clothing line FatBoysClothing.com official Fat Boys shirts. Discography Albums Singles as one-time appearances 1985 Chillin' with a Refrigerator 1985 Force MDS Meet the Fat Boys on the Force MDS album Chillin', 1985 All You Can Eat Crush Groove Original Soundtrack 1985 Crush Groove and Crush Groove Original Soundtrack Reached number 87 on the US R&B chart, 1985 Sun City Artists United Against Apartheid 1986 King Holiday 1987 Baby, You're a Rich Man Disorderly's Soundtrack Filmography, 1985 Knights of the City, also known as Cry of the City, 1985 Crush Groove, 1985 TV commercial for Swatch wristwatches, 1986 Miami Vice TV show, episode Florence Italy, 1986 Fat Boys on Video, BRRR, Watch 'em. 1987 Disorderlies, 1987 Square One music video Burger Pattern, 1988 Square One music video 1 Billion, 1988 3A, 3, 1988 TNT TV show starring Mr. T, episode The Silver Angel, 1989 Square One music video Working Backwards. Other media, 1988 1989 Police Academy, the animated series. 1987 New Coke Buff Love and the Human Beatbox improvised a rap live on the air with Guffey Roberts on the New Coke 87 Thanksgiving Raptacular radio special. 2000 2002 Jackass tracks made by the Fat Boys were used in several MTV Jackass episodes, notably the self-titled song The Fat Boys and the Jackass skit called Fat Fuck, which featured Brandon DiCamillo and Bam Margera dressed up as overweight people. 1989 The Super Mario Bros. Super Show episode Bad Rap features two chubby rappers by the name of the Fat Boys, a reference to the Fat Boys. The Fat Boys cover of the Safaris song Wipeout was used by National Wrestling Alliance / World Championship Wrestling Tag Team Dynamic Dudes as their entrance theme. 1997 The Johnny Bravo episode Hip Hop Flop. Johnny hears of a hip-hop group called the Round Pound, and seeks some advice from them to gain the love to a female hip-hop fan. The hip-hop group, the Round Pound, is a reference to the Fat Boys. In the television series Everybody Hates Chris, the episode Everybody Hates Fake IDs from the fourth season revolves around Chris and Greg's attempts to enter a Fat Boys concert in 1987. References. External links, official website, Disorderlies at the Internet Movie Database, The Fat Boys a large body of work by Jake Austen.